Hi, heroes. So we are here in lesson 8 in our modules, and I wanted to walk you through kind of the idea of what we're doing in the first part of this lesson. For other parts of this lesson, there are already videos here in the module for you, but I wanted to kind of do the introductory part of the lesson with you here today. And so, as you can see here on my screen, couple of announcements. We do have the book fair next week. If you are one of my virtual kids, or if you are currently at home, you can shop the book fair online. I did send the link to you, but you can also get to it through Mrs. Kassler's Canvas. So do make sure that you have a look around, buy something nice for yourself or for a family member for the holidays. All of the proceeds do go to support our school, to support our library. And if you're curious, I do have a wish list over there at the library for the book fair. So if you would like, you are more than welcome. No obligation, of course. But yes, book fair is next week. We'll be going, in-person students will be going to book fair next week. And then, of course, like I said, if you're one of my virtual kids or if you're at home for the time being, you can shop online. So you can just get into Mrs. Kassler's library Canvas page and you can have a look there. All right, so firstly, for today, I did want to remind you guys, guess what? Today is Wednesday, December 2nd that I'm taping this, and so we are 13 days left in this semester. I know that seems impossible, but it is true, heroes. I tell you it is so. And so we've got 13 days to make good on the rest of this semester. So we've got to hero up and buckle down and make sure that we are doing what we need to do. Make sure you're keeping track of your due dates, with your teachers and with me. Like, for example, today you're turning in your outline for your essay that you were supposed to finish in lesson 7. So this is how teachers keep you accountable for the work that you're supposed to be doing. So make sure over these next few days that you are keeping up on what needs to be done. So there's no big, mad, stressful rush at the end of the quarter. So for today, here in our agenda, and we always start here in our agenda, and I know it says red. If you're blue, you know the deal. But we're always here in our agenda, and this is where you start because it won't open up the module for you otherwise. So I've linked 2 documents here for you. I've linked my outline that I've been working on for And Then There Were None for my EL8 students. And then for all of you, EL8 and Honors EL8, I have also linked the model essay that we were using kind of as our example for All Summer in a Day. So these are here. I know I linked them for you in previous lessons, but I'm going to give it to you here again. So you'll notice here on our outline, our steps for the day. Step 1, you guys are going to be submitting your outline to me. I want your outline, no matter what shape it's in, please and thank you, so that I can give you some points at least instead of a big fat 0. I don't want to do that to you. So you'll submit your outline, and if it's only partially complete when you submit it, of course you'll get partial points for the time being, but then once it's completed, you can resubmit it to get more points. All right, again, this is my way of keeping you accountable for the work that you were supposed to do at home in your lesson 7 between when I saw you before Thanksgiving and when I'm seeing you now. So first thing we're going to do is submit that completed outline. Next, we're going to review your reason number 1 paragraph. I'm going to show you the model reason number 1 paragraph for All Summer in a Day, and I'm going to show you my reason number 1 paragraph that I'm doing for And Then There Were None, just to show you what this can look like, how it can be structured, and all of the pieces that you need to make sure that you have in that first body paragraph. That's going to lead you into this step 3, which is your writer's workshop. It's a mini lesson on using and citing quotes correctly, and you'll notice the video is here for that. I won't rehash it here in this video because you have one for that anyway. When you get done with all of this, you're going to go through and you're going to revise your reason number 1 paragraph. You're going to make sure that you have that topic sentence, that your quotes are used and cited correctly, that you have those transitions within your paragraph so everything flows smoothly. You're going to revise that reason number 1 paragraph to prepare it for me to give it feedback. Alrighty? Then you're going to draft your reason number 2 and reason number 3 paragraphs. This is your main job for today, is to draft those 3 paragraphs. Alrighty? So by the time all is said and done, you should have your introduction, reason number 1, reason number 2, and reason number 3 paragraphs done for ELA 8. You should have these 4 paragraphs done out of the total 5. For Honors ELA 8, you should have your intro, reason number 1, 2, 3, and your counter argument paragraphs done by the time I see you next. So Honors, you need to have 5 out of your 6 paragraphs done. Alrighty? So note these important things. I'm telling you up front and to your face what I expect to see done when you return to me in class again. Alrighty? So by the time you come back to me in lesson 9, the only thing that should need to be done is your conclusion. That should be the only piece of your essay that needs to be completed. You should have your intro, your body, and honors with your counter argument done and revised and ready to go. So all we have to add is your conclusion and get things polished up to submit. Alrighty? So that's the plan for today. So step 1, you're going to submit your completed outline. Step 2, we're going to review reason number 1 paragraph. Step 3, you're going to watch the mini lesson on using and citing quotes correctly, and then you're going to revise your reason number 1 paragraph to make sure you have your topic sentence, your quotes and citations correct, and your transitions. And then you're going to sit down and give yourself about an hour, because that's as much time as you'll have left probably in class period by the time I'm done. And you're going to draft your reason number 2 and reason number 3 paragraphs. Alrighty? I'm going to be conferencing with you through the comments in your Google Doc. So keep an eye out for those. I'll do my best to tag you so that it pings you, but keep an eye out for those comments and that feedback and those suggestions. I do recommend, if I make a suggestion, I recommend you take it. Okay? I'm trying to help you make your writing as good as it can be. So make sure you keep an eye out for those comments about your reason number 1 and your intro. Your homework, finish drafting your intro, your reason number 1, reason number 2, and reason number 3 paragraphs for ELA 8. And for honors, all of this and your counter argument, which you're working on in your at-home lesson. Do utilize your writing partners. If you run into an area where you're not sure or you would like a second opinion, create a comment, tag them in it so that they can help you. All right? They can give you feedback, give you a fresh set of eyes. You can also tag me, and I can have a look at it as well. Give your writing partners feedback too. Pay them compliments. Show them where they could perhaps do something a little different or maybe a little better. Let's help each other. That's why we're here, isn't it, heroes? Now, if you finish all of this and you still have time to spare, then step 6 down here, you have some extension articles in Actively Learn. I posted these last week, and these are extension articles. They are there to help you extend and practice your skills, but also they function on another level. Any work that you do in these Actively articles, I bank for the end of the quarter. What that means is when I come to the end of the quarter and I'm doing your grades and I've graded everything that you've given me, and your grade may be teetering right there on the edge of a higher grade, maybe somewhere between, say, a 97 and a 98. Now, and you're really close, but I've graded everything that you've given me. I can come here and say, let me see if they did any of the extra skill practice here in Actively. And if you have, then I can look through, I can see what you've done, how well you did, and then maybe I can give you some extra points for that extended practice that will boost that grade a little bit. This is an opportunity for you to give yourself a bit of a fail-safe. Now, it won't be a huge amount of points. I never give a huge amount of points for extra credit, just as a practice. But it might be enough to tip you over that edge if you find yourself in that position. Alrighty? So these are entirely optional, and it is up to you. Honors, you have these 3 that are in there, but you also have an article called the Geography of Mobility, and looking at justice, our theme of justice, and how accessibility and mobility actually play into that idea of equality and equity. So that is there in addition to these. All right, heroes. With that being said, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to submit your outline to me. So you're going to come down here to the bottom of your agenda. You're going to click Next. And it is going to take you to your assignment page. So it's going to take you here. You will have a big blue Submit Assignment button here in the upper right-hand corner. You click on that. It's going to open a text box for you. All you need to do is you need to get into your document. So I will get into mine. So you get into your document. You grab your outline. So notice I've got all of my outline done except for my conclusion. I haven't plotted that out yet. So I grab my outline. I copy my outline. I come back here to my literary analysis page. I click submit assignment. It opens up that text box. I paste my outline into that document. I click submit, and ta-da, I'm done. Now, since I did have all of my paragraphs except for my conclusion plotted out, so notice it's a 20-point assignment. So if you have ELA 8, if you have a 5-paragraph essay, so that makes it 4 points per section for your outline. Honors, you have a 6-paragraph essay, so that makes it roughly 3 and some points per section for your outline. So since I'm working on that 5-paragraph essay, I have all of my paragraphs except for my conclusion plotted out. That means I'm going to get 4 points for 4 out of those 5 paragraphs. So I'm going to get 4 paragraphs times 4 points each is 16. So I'm going to get a 16 out of 20 right now because I only have those 4 paragraphs plotted out. But once I finish that outline, I can come back here and I can resubmit it for more points. And you can do the same. So right now for me, I want you to pause this video. I want you to go submit that outline. Please and thank you. Now that you've done that, let's have a look at our agenda one more time. So here in our agenda, we submitted your outline. Now we're going to review reason number 1 paragraph so you can have a look at what it might look like or can look like. And then think about what can you strengthen in your reason number 1 paragraph. Do you have your topic sentence? Do you have your transitions? The reason I'm going to focus on this right now and have you revise it is because once you do that, you've figured out how to lay out your reason paragraphs. And then once you work on reason number 2 and reason number 3, you already know all the pieces you need to include. Alrighty? So let's start with the model essay, All Summer in a Day. And I've already got it open here. So let's look at Mrs. Barnes' reason number 1 paragraph. So here's her essay on All Summer in a Day called Grief is Contagious. And let's remind ourselves of what her thesis is. So here at the end of the intro. Through the use of character development, the climax, and imagery in the story, Bradbury reveals that jealousy causes people to be cruel. Remember, this is the story that takes place on Venus, where it rains for 7 years at a time, and the sun only comes out 1 day every 7 years for a few hours. And these children are 9 years old. They have only seen the sun once, but were too young to remember it. And our main character, Margot, actually comes from Earth. And she moved here when she was 4 years old. So she remembers what the sun is like. And so we have this contention between Margot and the other kids because she remembers, but they don't. All right, so here is her thesis. She's given us the 3 reasons that are going to support her theme. So character development is reason number 1, climax is reason number 2, and imagery is reason number 3. And then her theme is jealousy causes people to be cruel. All right, so let's get started. Here's her reason number 1 paragraph. The consequences of jealousy are first established through the character's interactions and the pain that Margot feels being around the children. Here's her topic sentence. She reminds us of what she's going to talk about. So we're looking specifically at character development. So we're going to talk about the theme in the character's interactions. Notice the transition. Because of this pain, talking about Margot, because of this pain, she isolates others and causes them emotional turmoil. Margot is even partly to blame for the jealousy the children feel. Talk about an unpopular opinion. Saying, here's Margot who feels so badly, she misses the sun so much, and yet she's partly to blame for how badly the children treat her. She isolates the others, she won't interact with them, and she causes them emotional turmoil. But let's see, she's going to explain to us exactly what she means by this. She's not going to slap that unpopular opinion out there and not explain it. For example, Margot keeps mentioning her experiences with the sun in front of the other children. She writes poems about the sun. She keeps telling stories of what it feels like. Also, Margot does not look at the other children or talk to them during recess. She actually refuses to speak to another kid when he talks to her, and she won't play any of their games. So here, Miss Barnes has given us this character interaction, this idea that jealousy can cause people to be cruel. She's explained her position, given us a bit of a summary of what's going on in the story to show us what she means. And now she's going to get to her specific evidence. Here's her evidence. talking about she won't play any of the games. She isolates the other kids. If they tagged her and ran, she stood blinking after them and did not follow. When the class sang songs about happiness and life and games, her lips barely moved. And here's her citation. Bradbury, paragraph 28. I made that up because I was using it as an example. Don't quote me on that. So she's given this piece of evidence to support that Margot is actually kind of responsible for how badly the kids treat her. She won't interact with them. When they try to interact with her, she won't play, she won't talk. And so she's saying this idea that jealousy can cause people to be cruel. She's showing us, here's how Margot is actually isolating the other kids and she's causing them pain. As no, she has her own pain, but not being able to see the sun. And we talked about this idea that people in pain lash out at others to make them feel pain too. And so here Margot, in her pain at missing the sun, she's isolating the other kids and she's causing them pain too. And here's our evidence to support it. Here's our explanation. Margot keeps herself apart from the other children, and she keeps talking about the sun, something the other children have never seen. The children despise her for her secret knowledge of the sun, and they would, quote, edge away from her. They would not look at her. So here's a second piece of evidence to support this idea that Margot is causing these kids pain and causing them jealousy. This separation, Margot from the other kids and the other kids from her, this separation was out of jealousy and only caused Margot more grief and despair. So in her pain at missing the sun, Margot has caused pain in the other kids by pulling herself away from them. And they figure, well, she doesn't want to associate with us. If she's going to be in high and mighty about it, then we're not going to associate with her. Even when they wanted to try to play games with her and things like that, she would not have anything to do with it. And so that separation caused jealousy in the other kids. They pulled away from her in turn, and that only caused Margot more grief and despair. Okay, so notice here in her reason 1 paragraph, she starts with that topic sentence. She reminds us of what she's going to talk about in this paragraph. Character development was the first thing she listed in her thesis for her reasons. So notice she reminds us that she's going to be talking about the characters' interactions, that character development, and the pain that Margot feels. So she reminds us exactly what she's going to talk about here. She transitions us into her explanation. So because of the pain that she feels, Margot isolates herself from others and causes them emotional turmoil. So she's transitioning us into this idea that she wants to float towards us. This idea that Margot is partly to blame for the jealousy that the children feel. And notice she quickly explains that. She doesn't just leave that idea out there. She quickly explains it for us using this transition, for example, and she gives us examples and explanations here of how Margot is causing pain in the other kids. She gives us a specific instance here where Margot refuses to speak to another kid when he talks to her, and she won't play their games. And that leads us into her evidence piece, which is specifically about them trying to play with her. If they tagged her and ran, she stood blinking after them and did not follow. When the class sang songs about happiness and life and games, her lips barely moved. She adds another explanation here. Margot keeps herself apart from the other children. She keeps talking about the sun, something they've never seen. And what happens because of this? The children despise her. Why is this important? So now we have to tell why this is important. The children despise her for her knowledge about the sun, and they would edge away from her. They would not look at her. Notice the second piece of evidence here. So this separation was out of jealousy, linking us back to that theme that jealousy can cause people to be cruel. This separation was out of jealousy and only caused Margot more grief and despair. So when you're writing your reason paragraphs, guys, you need to remember, you need to give your reader enough information so they understand what you're talking about in the story and how your evidence supports your claim, your theme, okay? We can't just slap any old quote there and claim that it's evidence, because if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't actually show how our theme is showing up in this story, it's not going to be of any help. So you need to be very cautious and very careful in making sure that you are explaining your evidence clearly and you're connecting it back to your theme, okay? We can't just slap any old quote there and expect it to work. We have to make sure that it fits. All right, heroes, what we're going to talk about next is we're going to talk about these lovely little in-text citations here in the text and how we need to construct them for a physical book versus an online book. All right, so you can stop this video, you can scroll on down and watch the next one for the mini lesson, and inbox me if you have any questions, tag me in your comments so I can help you with your writing, and I will see you all soon.